Hi, you guys. Welcome to our new online classroom. Kind of excited, kind of nervous, but we will all get through this together. We get to start out talking about a new type of function, and this new type of function is called a quadratic function, and quadratic functions have a new type of pattern. So we're going to call these notes a new quadratic pattern. Now, we know of some patterns already. We know that an exponential pattern looks like this. And then we can maybe say 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And we know that in an exponential pattern, so we'll call this exponential, because there's this constant multiplier. It times by 2, times 2, times 2, times 2. To get to each next number, you multiply it by this 2, and because it has a multiplied by 2 all the way around, this constant multiplier, or sometimes we call that a constant factor, tells us that this is an exponential function. We also know of a different kind of pattern that functions can have. Let's say that this goes like this. And in this one, there's not a constant multiplier, but there is a constant difference or a constant change. To get from 2 to 5, you would add 3. From 5 to 8, you would add 3, and add 3. So because this function has a constant change, we can know that this one is a linear function. Again, you've learned that, you've seen that, but just to review, these are two types of patterns that we already know. A new type of pattern, I'm going to set up like this. Okay, I'm going to say that we start with 2, and then it goes to 4. See if you can see what's happening. 8, 14, 22. Definitely not a constant multiplier. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. But 8 times 2 is not 14, it's 16. So this is not a constant multiplier. It's also not a constant change. Like if you go from 2 to 4 and you add 2, and then from 4 to 8, you would have to add 4. And then from 8 to 14, you would add 6. And from 14 to 22, you would add 8. Now, this is this first change, just like over here. This is the first time we find the changes, and it's not constant, so we know it's not a linear function. However, if we look at how the change is changing, we can see that it have a pattern. It does have a pattern. So 2 plus 2 more is 4. Plus 2 more gives us this 6, plus 2 more is 8. So we're going to call this the first change. It's like the first time we find the changes. Over here, this is really the constant first change because it's the first time we saw how these numbers are changing. And then this is like the change of the changes. We're going to call that the constant second change. And if the second change, the change of the change, is constant, then we know that it is a quadratic function. So that's all for this first little part of Introduction to Quadratic Functions. Now we know what the pattern of a quadratic function looks like. It's a quadratic function if this second change over here, the change of the change, is constant. Then we know it's a quadratic function. So yeah, go ahead and try the practice that goes along with this video. It shouldn't take long. It's just a couple questions and just see how you do. Thanks. Bye.